Recently, I was thinking about this girl with whom things unfortunately did not work out with. She was pretty, she was smart, she had star titties, but for whatever reason, the things that were supposed to happen just didn't happen. I wasn't available when she wasn't available when I was. She wanted things from me that I couldn't give her. I wanted things for her that she couldn't give me. But regardless of that, whenever I looked into her eyes, I genuinely thought that I could marry this girl. That for whatever reason, our love was special. That I could have children with her, that she would be the last girl I ever wanted to see, that even if everyone else died, I would be okay as long as she is alive. And being away from her, it made me really sad, it made me really depressed, I was miserable, I wanted to see her so bad, I felt like I wanted to die, I felt like I could kill someone for her, that I would never move on, and I hate this feeling, I hate it, until I realized that everything is bullshit and it was just chemicals in my brain that was making me feel this way. And what I felt wasn't love or longing, it wasn't special. Every predictable feeling I was feeling at the time could be explained with science. Dopamine release, serotonin levels, and that I can't help but act this way because I'm a homo sapien, and my genetic code was written by billions of years of trial and error so that I'd fall for anyone of the opposite gender as long as they show me any type of moderate interest, and once they leave me I'll be left distraught and dying and sad and crying because the universe is approximately 13.7 billion years old, starting with what scientists theorized as the Big Bang Theory, which was when all the matter that exists in the universe was compacted into a very small point with infinite density and intense heat, and then suddenly expanded, creating the universe that we know today. And it took 9.2 billion years after that for our little solar system to form in a galaxy amongst 100 billion other galaxies in the observable universe. First forming the sun, then slowly all the planets, the moons, and then about 800 million years after that, life formed. Not like the human talking life that we know today, but single-cell organisms that only existed in the ocean. Organisms so small that you wouldn't even know if you stepped on them now. And then hundreds of millions of years after that, they grew into bigger and more complex little creatures and left the ocean. And then they developed into things that started looking like it can be explained in the Bible. Some of them, we call them homo sapiens, started becoming better than the others, building tools and shelters and farms and domesticating animals. But as they went on, they learned math, science, history, they learned to govern each other, they learned to conquer each other, they learned to travel, they learned to fly even to the moon. They learned to do bad things but not make it look that bad, to make it look amazing in fact. They built the pyramids but they threw slaves at them. They built the Great Wall of China but they threw slaves at them. All the 7 wonders of the world that we all are baffled by, they threw slaves at them. World Cup stadiums, they threw slaves at them. But I don't care because Messi's the greatest. Approximately 117 billion homo sapiens, also known as humans, have been born into this world. But the crazy thing is, most of these people have died brutal, terrible, awful deaths. They became forgotten by the indifferent passage of time. Plagues, wars, slavery, famine, you name it. These people definitely died from it. Their lives did not matter. So why am I getting hung up over a girl who spews her bullshit problems into my ears all the time? And no, I'm not talking about problems like the economic and political state of the world right now. Those aren't her problems. Those things don't matter to her. What matters to her is what she can say on her Instagram caption that defines her as a person. Or when she feels sad on a particular day, but then you ask her why she's sad and she doesn't answer because God knows why. We beat out every single other species, even our own sometimes, for this to be her biggest problem? Are you kidding me? And it's not like I'm any different either. Murder, poverty, crime, these things don't matter to me. What matters to me is if wearing one earring makes me look like a misunderstood lesbian, which it does. What matters to me is if double texting makes me look lame as fuck, which it does. What matters to me is her. Back in the day, we humans used to just fornicate with each other and breed children. But then the stories of God and his children became so important to us that we followed in their steps and built our values off them. We focused on monogamy and sacrificing for the family. Parents sold off their teenage daughters to working class husbands. Political marriages bred many political children. Family webs intersecting, creating straight bloodlines, all trickled down to this current generation, just for you to fuck it up because you'll die bitchless. Not dying was such an important factor of every species' lives, as recently as only 700 years ago when the bubonic plague killed an estimated 75 to 200 million people, practically killing 30% of the humans that existed in the world at the time. But from the constant trial and error as well as the indomitable human spirit, we traversed through the laws of nature and conquered it so well that many of us live good and long lives where we have choices like choosing between a cell phone that sends text with a blue outline instead of green, or if a memory foam mattress is better for my posture because I can't seem to fall asleep because my life is boring as shit and I have no real problems. We're so above the basic needs of survival that our biggest problems trickle down to this: But hey, that's fine, because eventually we will face our mortalities and succumb to the indifferent cruelty of the universe, and our kids will face that same mortality, and their kids will as well, and it will continue seemingly forever until the end of human civilization as we know it. Whether it's through asteroids wiping us out like we theorized it did when dinosaurs ruled the world, or climate change, or even the fact that we created nuclear weapons that can bring about the end of civilization as we know it, and all it takes is the decision of a handful of people to do so. And even further along into the distant future, after humans have been presumably wiped out from the face of the earth because it got so hot that the oceans started evaporating, the universe will continue to expand until eventually the big crunch will occur, which is what some scientists theorize is the ultimate fate of the universe, where the ever-expanding universe eventually reverses and it collapses upon itself, with the universe in its final breath being nothing but infinite heat and density, and then ending with the destruction of everything that ever was. However, scientists have long criticized the validity of the Big Crunch theory. They've come up with alternative theories like the heat death of the universe, or more suitably, the oscillating universe model, where after the Big Crunch occurs, another Big Bang occurs after that, starting another universe, creating another 100 billion galaxies amongst another couple billion years, and one of those galaxies might have the correct conditions to build another star, and that star might nurture a planet that becomes livable. And another couple 100 million years after that, maybe some type of life form starts popping up on the planet, and maybe that life form turns into something that's somewhat intelligent, and maybe those things might evolve into a breed of aliens that maybe are more smarter than us, that maybe live in a completely different set of laws than us, and maybe after all the trial and tribulations that entire alien race goes through, and maybe once they're able to create a livable and peaceful society amongst themselves, maybe there will be an alien that is born that has nothing to do but indulge in the safety of the society around him, so that the only problem in his life is whether he should text her or if it will make him look clingy.
Hold on, cows, no one can escape.